Hi guys, it's Natalie Zagan, also known as Mother Goose. We are today by the beautiful view of the ocean in Los Angeles, live right now, coming to you. So one of the things I wanted to speak about is, as we know, this is the Shabbat right after Passover. This is the Shabbat right after the Jews went to come out of Egypt, and one of the ways they came out of Egypt was they went through the Red Sea, through the ocean. The ocean literally opened up and the Jews went through it. So some of the things that we have to take into consideration is that in order for things to work out for us, many times it's about going against nature and having the belief that it can go against the nature. Many times in life, we don't believe in that because we believe what we saw growing up and what we were exposed to. It is what it is, and that's how it's going to be. So we don't believe any change can happen unless we learn and get educated about manifestation, the higher power, the belief system, understanding some things are in our control and some things are not, but that there is a higher power that can always turn things around for us. Everything that happened to the Jews from the beginning until the end, first it took time, it took trust, it took belief, and it was all about going against the nature. On Passover, we learned about the 10 makot, the plagues that happened against nature. We learned about the Jews coming out and the splitting of the Red Sea against the nature. They get into the Red Sea after a month. The bread that they had on their shoulder, because they ran out as soon as God said, come, they ran out. They did not logically sit down and think that's impossible. There was no logic. There was trust. There was faith, which is what children from secure attachment believe and they develop within themselves. Many kids didn't have that, so they doubt. They question, they wonder, they want the easy way out, and maybe they never make a change because they're too afraid, because they were never given that secure base and secure attachment. So the Jews, when they heard, they ran out, right? They came out and the bread didn't have enough time to rise, so it became the leavened bread, the matzah that we eat. So the matzah ran out after about a month to 40 days, and then God gave them the heavenly bread, the next miracle. Because where does bread come from? The logical way that bread comes from is from the earth. You take the wheat, turn it into flour, and mix it with water, and you get bread. But the bread that the Bnei Israel got was the heavenly bread. It was a bread that came from the sky, which is again going against nature. So what it's teaching us, that in order for things to unfold for you, first you have to stop trying to control it and stop limiting ourselves. We have to get to a point, like when we come by the ocean, why do we experience serenity? Why do we feel this other vibration of being? Because it takes us back before we existed. It takes us back to a place that we were generation and generations ago. It takes us back to the oneness of when the first man was created, Adam, the first human being. And in that space, he felt the oneness, he felt the completeness, and he felt the totality of the higher power within them. As long as we live our life thinking we are in control and we're going to do this and we're going to do that, that's when we experience the scatteredness, which is of our generation right now, with the social media, Instagram, TikTok, all these scatteredness that wants to make us feel fallen apart, incapable, unvaluable, impossible, and the list goes on. And that's where depression comes from. Where the opposite is when you come into nature, when you take off your shoes, put your feet in the sand, in the grass, expose your eyes to the ocean, expose your eyes to the sun, hear the wind, hear the birds, smell the ocean, suddenly there is no separation, there is no scatteredness, because you feel that oneness with the higher power, just like the beginning, just like before you even came onto this physical body. This physical body is the figment of our imagination. The reality is that soul within us, that deeper soul that senses that vibration when you're by the ocean, that is who we are. It's not about our appearance, it's not about the look on the outside, It's not about the wrinkles, the eyes, the hair going gray. It's not about what weight you have, what size you have. I could guarantee you, when you get to a point of being able to radiate the higher sense of yourself, what that's within, you will walk into a room, and despite your size and your clothing, you get a different attention to you. And then you could see someone with the best body shape, but when they feel dark on the inside, everyone else feels their vibration as being dark. Eventually, the goal of life is where we get to a place where we feel our wholeness from within. And when we feel that completeness and that oneness from within ourselves to the higher power and to God, then we will no longer be at the mercy and the words of other people to get shaken up with the wind. We are able to be grounded and centered because we know we have a higher value of the self, which is our soul, which is connected to God. And that is what the ocean teaches us about the oneness that we need to get to throughout our life, and teach it to our children, and help our children understand that they need to learn to be proud of themselves for their accomplishment from within themselves. That is the greatest gift you could give yourself and your kids.